Mr. John, how are you?
Pretty good. How about you?
Well, here, try to resting a little bit. I'm okay. I feel good.
That's good.
A bit sincerely. Well, how was your week, Mr. John?
Well, it was fine. It's February is not my favorite month, so it's I told students in the first class, it's the shortest month, but it feels the longest. So
Gotcha.
yeah, it's kind of it's just not. It's every day is basically the same. It's
Yeah.
boring, same. Sometimes it rains, sometimes it snows. Who knows? So we'll see. Now, I think Wednesday, I think they're talking about maybe some strong weather. So,
Yes, it's correct. So
yeah.
I reading today the weather channel of the airport, and I saw
Yeah.
the snowstorm for the next 10 days.
Yeah. I think, yeah, a lot of places up north. Yeah.
No,
So we'll
including
see.
here, North Kentucky have
There's,
maybe not so high, but
yeah, there's a chance. Yeah. But that's kind of like all of February. In general, February is like there's a chance it could snow every day, but it's never, it's never interesting. It's just kind of the same. So,
yeah,
yeah.
that is
All
correct.
right. Yeah. So I say, Maria. Hey, Maria.
Hello, Mr. John.
How we doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah. Doing all right. So, what do you think, Maria? Is February your favorite month or your least favorite month?
Mm, it's not my favorite. It's not my worst.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So, well, I don't know. I think February is pretty terrible. So, I am not a fan of February. Now, in January, I know it could be dark and, but in January, we had snow. So, at least at the beginning, it was nice. But we had snow on the ground for almost a month. So, that's crazy. That doesn't normally happen in Cincinnati. So, all right, I see Min is here. Hey, Min.
Hi, Mr. John. How are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm good.
Good to hear. All right. Well, hey guys, why don't we get started? Because again, it's February, so yeah, our first class here in February, and February is not my favorite month. So we'll go ahead and get started. Maybe we can make the month better. Right? So, all right. Now, of course, it because it's February, that means it's still winter. So I always like to find little things to share, especially things that can help us. Well, here's an interesting little, just a very short little article talking about what are the things that we should not leave in our car in the wintertime. So thinking about, especially when things get really cold, what are some things that we should not leave in the car? So let me pull up the article here and just show you real quickly. What are some things that we should not leave in the car? So, for example, believe it or not, one of the things they talk about is don't leave your sunglasses in the car, which I thought that was kind of interesting. And I leave my sunglasses in the car all the time. But let's take a look real quickly. So one thing they mentioned are aerosol cans. So things that have spray, you spray them. Now, for example, maybe you have some people have aerosol spray that you can spray on the windshield to make it, to clean it off. But they said don't leave them in the car because they can possibly explode. If you have any canned beverages, so like soft drinks, for example, well, of course, one thing is when they freeze, they can obviously expand when they get warmer and they can explode. That's true. Definitely. That has happened to me before. And of course, we shouldn't put any food in the car. Even food in plastic will eventually freeze. So, again, maybe not a good idea to leave that in the car. I like this picture, by the way, this kid cleaning off his car. Do you notice what he's wearing? So a lot of snow, but he's basically wearing shorts. So that seems like a typical American teenager to me. So Now, this one you might think is kind of funny. Eggs. We shouldn't leave eggs. We put eggs in the refrigerator all the time. But no, if it gets too cold, eggs can actually freeze and crack. And then at that point, the egg is useless. So even though it's cold, if the egg cracks, it's ruined. Can't eat it. Now, this one's interesting. Electronics. I don't know if any of you ever leave anything in the car, like probably not a cell phone, though sometimes we might do it by accident. But again, other electronic things we probably shouldn't leave in the car. So, for example, I have a travel battery, like a little battery that I can use when I travel. I need to plug in the computer or plug in something. They say that's not a good idea. It gets too cold. So, and it can ruin the battery. And then another interesting thing is medications. Now, right now in my car, I have medications in my car. Just the things you buy like aspirin, Tylenol, things you might need when you're traveling. I keep those in my car all the time. So when I'm traveling to different places, in case I need them. So it says here, medicine is also something that should not be frozen. So interestingly, maybe I should go and throw those things away. Now, this last one seems a bit crazy, but loved ones. Of course, we don't want to leave animals or children or older people in a car. So even if you're going inside somewhere and leaving somebody or pets for a short period of time, if it's really, really cold, don't do it, right? I mean, that seems to make sense. Okay, so lots of things you can see here that you should not leave in the car. So we're going to get a sense from just a moment. We'll give you the chance to think about your situation right now. So think about it right now, guys. Think about what's in your car right now, because we're going to talk about it. And so that leads us to a new expression. And then we're going to jump into a new grammar topic for this afternoon. All right, so right now, think about what I just talked about. Do you know what's in your car right now? Now think about it for a moment. How many items from the list that I just gave you are in your car? Now, I'll give you a hint. I'll tell you me. I'm being honest. There were 4 things from that list that I have in my car right now. So medications, electronics, aerosols. I do have a bear spray, for example. So when I go somewhere and there are bears, I've got an air spray in my car. So not a good idea. I have giant containers of water, like giant plastic jugs of water, and already they've frozen at least 2 or 3 times. I have to be careful. If they crack, they could spill all over my car, right? So that's 4. That's 4 things right now from the list I have in my car, and then of course sunglasses too. So, all right, guys. So you can use the chat or the mic. What's in your car right now, and are any of them from the list? Do you have anything in your car that could be frozen or damaged? Think about it right now. So think about that list, okay? So I'm going to put it back on. I'm going to put them in the chat. Okay. So again, think about right now. All right. So they mentioned sunglasses too. Don't keep those in the car. Okay. All right. So guys, right now, any of these things in your car? So Maria, what about you? Can you remember what's in your car right now?
I think we have just sunglasses in the car.
So make sure you check them. They get too cold. Have you worn them recently?
No.
You better check on them then.
Okay.
Yeah, better check on them. Man, man, have you worn these sunglasses recently?
No.
When was the last time you wore them?
I think I only can wear in summer.
So they've been sitting in the car for 12 months?
Yeah, I tried, but I think it's got how to say, smog. it's I'll say it's vague when I wear the sunglasses in winter.
You mean like they get kind of cloudy?
Yes.
Oh, so like they get frosted over?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what they're talking about. That could actually damage the glasses if you leave them in there for a long time. So okay.
Oh, I got it.
All right. All right, Freeane, confession time. Anything in your car right now? Any electronics?
Maybe I'm charger. So just a cable. So I
Oh,
leaving the
okay.
I'm leaving is some folder and hat and just pin for collection.
Okay. Okay. But if you go out to the car and you find you left some electronic device or a drink, just be careful. Well, the drink one especially, I keep mentioning that I need to go out and check them because guys, when I travel, especially when I travel long distances, I'll bring these big water containers, these big jugs of water, and unfortunately, this is true. Last year or 2 years ago, one of them actually cracked and spilled all over the inside of my car. So I probably should go out and check it. Maybe right after class, I'll go and check. Now, before we leave the question, have you left food in the car before, or eggs, or anything that have frozen before? Has this happened to any of you where you've left something and it's frozen and it's broken or ruined or cracked? Has this happened to anyone? So I've told you before, I've left soft drinks in the car, so canned drinks, for example. And I've had those freeze, expand and then crack and then spill. So has anybody here left anything in the car? Anything frozen or cracked? Really? Not even food? This happens to me sometimes too. So for example, I have these, sometimes I travel with these bars. So these bars are gluten-free. So these are things I can eat. And the problem is, though, they're very dry. So when they get cold, they get very hard. And then what happens is they start breaking, like they turn very crumbly. So a lot of those kinds of foods don't last very well in cold weather. All right. So what you're telling me is you guys are perfect. Is that it? Perfect. Never make a mistake. Never have anything break in the car. Okay. So just me. All right. Well, I always find those little lists interesting because some of these I think about. Of course, yeah, we shouldn't leave eggs in the car. But the medication one was a pretty interesting one. I carry, again, Tylenol or other kinds of medication when I travel, just in my car all the time. In fact, right now in my car, I've got my next trip I'm preparing for. I've got a bed, I've got a battery. So yeah, I should go and check those things. So. All right. Well, anyway, let's move on and talk about our new expression. So I was trying to think of an expression related to the cold, and this one's an interesting one because, again, this is an expression that we used or we borrowed from from one idea, but we actually use it for a different reason. So everybody turn on your microphones for a moment. Let's say this expression together. Okay, so everybody turn them on. All right, so guys, repeat after me. To be left out in the cold.
To the left, out in the cold.
Okay, thank you, guys. You can turn off your mics there for a moment. Now, you may have heard part of the expression left out. In fact, I don't know if you guys ever watched the TV show The Office. So do you guys recognize this person here? This is Michael Scott from the TV show The Office. So he's always saying crazy, stupid things. But if you notice what he says, I hate being left out. Right, so that's a pretty common way to use this expression. And then if you notice this guy down here, he says, you forgot me. So what does that expression mean, to be left out in the cold? Well, exactly what he's talking about. To not be included in any activity or event. But notice what it says, on purpose. Like if somebody doesn't want you to participate, they might leave you out of the activity.
Ellos son así.
So in this case, you're left out in the cold. Or if you're ignored or excluded from a particular group. So if you wanted to join a group and they decided not to allow you to join, they left you out, right? So maybe you were on a list and they took your name off the list and now you're not part of the group. You were left out. So in this case, the full expression is to be left out in the cold. So I think you can understand where the expression comes from, right? I mean, for example, if someone were outside in the cold weather, maybe they think someone has forgotten them, right? Or an animal, unfortunately, right, might be left out in the cold. So in this case, though, the expression is not talking about being in the cold weather. It just means that you weren't included or maybe excluded from a certain event or activity. All right, so we're going to do a little breakout activity. So in this activity, same thing we've done before. We have a short dialogue, and then we're going to answer the question at the bottom. So let's go ahead. Since there's just 3 of us here, we'll do it right here together. Okay, so we won't go into the breakout room. We'll just do the activity here together. So how about Min, you be A, and Maria, you be B. Okay, so let's try the dialogue first. So Min, take it away.
Okay. Hey, why are you here? I saw you were going to a party.
Well, it turns out I wasn't invited. No invitation, no phone call, nothing. They just left me out in the cold.
I'm sorry to hear that. Hey, did you see the mail today? It's here.
No, I didn't see it.
Look, it's the invitation to the party. It arrived late.
All right, so Friyane, would you like to read the question for us?
How would you feel if you were invited on the party and were left out of the call? Has this happening to you before?
Okay, so let's start with the situation in the dialogue. So again, this person thought they were not invited, but what was the reality? What was the reality in the dialogue? Were they not invited?
No, I guess no.
Well, look at the last.
For the general, I reject the invitation.
Yeah, the problem is the invitation just arrived late. So, yeah, so this maybe happened before, right? So Friyane, how would you feel if this happened to you? If you didn't get an invitation to a party?
Really bad.
So what would you do? Would you like call the person and say something to them like, "Why didn't you invite me to the party?" Or "I didn't want to go to your stupid party anyway"?
I guess I can make the face to the another person and say what happened.
Yeah.
Why do you tell me? Why is the reason? Because you don't say nothing before and well, I try to hear.
Yeah. What do they not like me? Did they not tell me? Why didn't you say something? Okay. All right. Interesting. All right, Min, Maria, how would you feel if you weren't invited to a party? Would you feel this way? Would you feel left out in the cold?
Yes, in my case, yes.
So has this happened to you
feel-
before? Has it happened to you before where someone didn't invite you?
Yes, yes, sometimes. Yeah.
So
But
what did you do? Did you say something to them? I didn't want to go to your stupid party anyway.
no, I just passed to say that. No.
So did you still remain friends with the person or did you stop talking to them?
No. I think that, okay, when I have a party, I won't invite you.
Mhm. Yeah, my party's going to be better. It's going to be better than your party. Very interesting,
Yeah,
Maria.
yeah.
Okay, I like it. Okay. All right. All right, Min, what about you? Or how would you feel?
Uh, actually, it's fine.
Really? You'd be okay if nobody invited you to a party?
uh, it's up to the owner.
What if you thought it was your best friend and they didn't invite you to a party? Don't you think you would feel bad or feel hurt?
I don't know. We we do have a lot of party in my home country, but
So you're just saying this isn't a real situation for you. Oh, okay. Well, let's imagine, man. Let's imagine if you think someone is your friend and they don't invite you, would you feel bad? Would you say something?
I never thought about
Okay.
that.
Okay. Maybe you're just too nice, man. Maybe that's the problem. Well, I think for example, this has happened, of course, like in school, right? Here in America, kids have parties all the time. You think you're going to be invited to this party, or you hear, hey, someone's having a big birthday party, but they don't invite you. So yeah, this has happened before. This is not unusual, but and certainly I have felt, maybe hurt, maybe angry. But when I was a kid, we didn't have Facebook, right? We didn't have social media. You couldn't put something on the, you're stupid, blah blah blah. No. So Maria's example of maybe not inviting them to your party, maybe that's what I would do. I don't know. But the problem is I never had many parties. So I don't know. Now, of course, we can use this expression to be left out in the cold for other reasons too, not just parties. Like I said, maybe you're not included in a particular group, or not been included in a particular team, maybe at work. When you're left out, it just means that, yeah, they did not include you. So this has happened, yeah, parties, for example, but it could happen at work, right? It can happen in many situations. So our expression to be left out in the cold, or to be left out, right? If we think about just the first part, just means we're not included. So maybe I was left out. Maybe your friends were going to go do something and they didn't include you. Or maybe there was something at work and they didn't include you and the team. So in this case, I think we can understand we would feel maybe pretty bad. Maybe like this guy here. This guy looks pretty sad to me. I think many of us would like to be included. That's at least my opinion. All right. Well, guys, thanks for sharing your thoughts on this topic. And men, I guess it's good that you've never had this problem, right? You've never felt bad about it. All right. Well, we're going to move on and talk about. So we've been practicing with a lot of grammar ideas here in the first part of our session. And in our last classes, we talked about the conditional form. You might remember we discussed the idea of if I were, right? If I were you, or if she were here, or blah, blah, blah. Well, today we're going to look at using the conditional form, or this kind of unreal form, thinking about questions and thinking about the positive and negative sentences that we can make with these particular examples. So let's take a look. Now, again, let's first discuss a word, and I'm going to highlight this word right here at the top. So the word there is hypothetical. Hypothetical. Does everyone see that there? What does it mean when we talk about a hypothetical situation? Maybe you've heard this word before. Who could explain to us what hypothetical means? Anybody have an idea? When something is hypothetical.
The situation is not real.
It's not real, but perhaps it is possible. So one of the things we have to understand that when we talk about hypothetical situations, it's a situation that could happen. Like, for example, we're thinking about our situation right now. There are lots of hypothetical things that could happen, right? Now, I think we can agree winning the lottery, like if I gave you that situation, that's probably not very hypothetical, right? Or at least not very possible. Hypothetical situations can happen, right? They're possible. But for example, if you notice here, it says, if we won the lottery, we would buy a new car. All right, that's a hypothetical situation. It is possible. I mean, it's possible to win the lottery, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? It's a very small chance. So some hypothetical situations are perhaps more possible than others. Some are very small possibility. Of course, you might say, Mr. John, we can't win the lottery if we don't play the lottery. So, but have you done that before, guys? Have you walked around thinking, oh, if I just had $1 million, right? Or if we won the lottery, what would we do? Right? You've probably done this before, right? It's kind of a common experiment to think about. What would you do in these situations? So a hypothetical situation is not real, but it is possible by definition, or at least it's almost possible. So that's the idea. The idea is we want to concentrate on giving us a possibility. So if we look over here now on the left side, you will notice that we use the hypothetical situations with, if you remember last time, we used that if clause, right? If I were you, if she were here. Well, this time we're going to use this hypothetical situation talking about like actions. So what I'd like to do is, let's take a look at these 3 examples here. So I see Mary has joined us. Hey, Mary, maybe you could read this first example right here for us.
Okay. Is she have a car, she could drive to work.
Okay, now, Mary, what is the reality of the situation? So it says if she had a car. So does she have a car?
No,
not?
now she don't have a car.
Okay, so she doesn't have a car. So that
She doesn't have a car.
means she can drive to work or she can't drive to work.
She can drive to work.
Aha. But if she had a car, right, she could do these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in this case, the first part of the sentence is giving us the condition. If she had a car, but as Mary said, the reality is she doesn't. So again, is that a hypothetical situation? Well, absolutely. It's not real, but it's possible. I mean, if I gave you a car, you would do this action. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mary. Min, would you like to read the second one for us where it says she?
She wouldn't drive to work if she didn't have a car.
Now that seems to be pretty much the negative form of the first sentence, right? She wouldn't drive to work. Well, that seems logical, right? No car, no driving to work.
Yeah.
So in this case, that seems pretty reasonable. But here's my question. Does she have a car in this situation?
Not yet. Oh, maybe.
Well, it says if she didn't have a car. So does she have a car in this situation?
Oh, maybe she already has one.
Yeah. So as you can see, it sounds a little crazy, doesn't it? If she didn't have a car, she wouldn't drive to work. That seems kind of crazy, but that's what they're saying. The truth is she has a car, so she does drive to work. But this is, again, a hypothetical situation. So in this case, yeah, it seems a little strange, but it does fit the grammar of the idea. All right, Maria, would you like to read the next example? Maria, are you there?
Sorry, I am mute. If we won the lottery, we wouldn't buy a new car.
We wouldn't or would?
We would buy a new car.
Okay. So now I just talked about this for a moment ago. So Maria, is this something you do sometimes to think, oh, if we just won the lottery?
No,
You don't play that game,
no,
or you sit there and think, oh, if we just had $1 million.
no. I have a bad look, so I
You
just
never do that.
waste my time. Yes,
Oh,
yes, I did sometimes.
I think it's pretty natural, right, to think about something different, right? Think about more money,
Mm,
or
yes,
yeah, or maybe a bigger house or a bigger place to live, right?
yes,
That seems pretty
absolutely.
natural. Yeah, I'm sure everybody here in the room right now would think, if you had won the lottery, right? What would you do? Now, if you notice in all of the sentences, do you notice the construction of the sentence? So in the first part of the sentence with the if clause, we generally use the simple past. If she had a car, or if she didn't have a car, or if we won the lottery. The second part of the sentence, we use the word would or wouldn't. Now, let's remember something. Okay, so guys, let's remember this is not the past. These are not real situations. So that's one of the challenges for students to understand. These are not real, right? These are not real situations. These are hypothetical situations. They aren't real at the moment, but they are possible in life. Now, if you notice in this, as we continue through the list, it says, we sometimes use could instead of would. Now, when students say, Mr. John, is there a difference between the two? Yes, I think it depends, though, on the context. Like, for example, and it says here, if we won the lottery, we could buy a new car. There is a different meaning, okay? So let me highlight this. There is a different meaning between we would buy a car and we could buy a car. So I want to be clear, Burlington is kind of explaining that they're kind of the same, but these are not the same meanings. So I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think is the difference between we would buy a new car and we could buy a new car? What do you think might be the difference between those two? What do you think? Anybody have
I mean,
Create?
Mr. Young, for the cold is more for when do you, it's something similar to can't. So you can't take in that, or you can move it on this position. Something more or less I can understand.
Okay, so
It's
for
like to
example,
the power.
maybe we could say in the second example, we're talking about the possibility is there.
Exactly.
I can do it or not. Okay, so that's good. Yeah. So the second sentence is talking about the possibility. So yes, if I had money, we could do this, right? The possibility exists. Okay. So Mary, let's go back to the first one though. If I said we would buy a new car, what's the difference there, Mary? What do you think?
It's like it's like something you lie about a car. But in the bottom in the cool is like how Frajan says like more a possibility is more real.
Okay, so I'm confused. So in could would be the possibility, but would be
It's something like you lie, but it's not. I don't know how to explain, but it's just something like you lie. It's maybe.
well, I do agree. It's something you want. Yes, I do agree with you.
Yeah, exactly. It's something like you want, but the other one is something maybe you can do.
Yeah, but Mary, in both situations, I got a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'll give you a hint. I think it has to do with what you choose to do. So in the second example, I could buy a new car, but does that mean I would do it? If I had the possibility, does that mean I'm always going to choose to do it?
Oh no.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
for example, Mary, if you go to your refrigerator right now okay? And you open the door to your refrigerator. Now, I don't know what's in your refrigerator, maybe nothing. I don't know. But let's say there's some food in the refrigerator, okay? And you say, "Oh, look at this delicious food. I can eat this food right now." Right? It's here, it's possible. I'm hungry, I'm ready to eat. I am not sick. This food is good. Now, my question is, are you going to eat it?
Maybe.
Aha. So the difference between could and would, could means there's the possibility. The food is in the refrigerator, but that does not necessarily mean I'm going to eat it.
Okay, okay.
I could do it, but maybe I'm not going to. So in the first example, we would buy a new car. That tells me that if you had the money, that's
You buy the
probably
car.
the
Yeah.
first thing you would
Okay.
do. Yes. Very good, Mary. Now you got it. So I think in the first example, we're talking more about that it would be the action I would take. This is more about the possibility. Now, of course, I could choose to buy the new car, but I could also choose to do something else. Okay. Now, Friane, were you going to say the same thing or did you have a different explanation?
No, just that one because I remember the action. When the one is the possibility, the another one is more directly.
Yeah. So in this case, maybe this is what you would do, right? Now, Mary, if you notice in the sentence, it says if we won the lottery, we could buy a new car, but it doesn't say how much money we won, right? I mean, so let's be honest. If we only won $5, could we buy a new car?
No, it's not enough money.
Well, for example, maybe you could buy this car.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
Maybe
See?
two, like
There
this.
you two. Now this is America. This is I'm about two, maybe one and a half. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's I think I wanted to make that clear because I think Burlington is kind of saying that they're the same. They're not the same. Could is talking about that it's possible. Now you may choose to do it, you may not. But would is indicating what you want. So I think in this case, Mary, you had a good idea. It's what I want to do. So if I have the money, this is what I'm going to do. Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. All right. So now, real quickly, when we use the second conditional, the verb in the conditional clause is in the past tense. But remember, the meaning of the sentence is not the past. Right? It is not the past. You're talking about something you would like to happen now. If I won the lottery, well, not tomorrow or yesterday. This is what I would like now. Right? So the idea is, of course, it could be the future. Sorry, but it's not the past. So if I won the lottery, this is what I would do. Now, but I want to make something clear. This is not the future. Okay, this is not the future tense because the problem is it's not real. If I use the future is saying this is what I will do. I win, I pick up the money tomorrow, I will buy a car. That is not a hypothetical situation because you know the money is coming. So for example, maybe tomorrow is your payday. Maybe you're getting your paycheck tomorrow. So you are telling me, hey, Mr. John, I get my paycheck and then I buy the car. That's not hypothetical. That's real. You're going to do it. So just be careful when we talk about these ideas of if I could or if I would or these are not the future. These are hypothetical. Okay? So just remember that they're hypothetical. They're not real, but they could exist or could be possible in a particular situation. All right, now let's kind of move on real quickly because I want us to try an activity or two. So real quickly, when it comes to questions, so in practicing questions, which we're going to practice a little bit here in just a moment, I want you to notice how the questions are formed. So for example, I'm going to ask Friane if you would read the two examples here on the screen for us, okay? So Friane, would you like to read these for us?
Of course. Will you come to the party if I invite you? If I invite you to the party, will you come?
Okay, very good. Thank you, Frayane. So the idea is to notice the order of these situations. So because they're questions, right, we invert the question word and the subject, right? So would you come if I invited you, right? So the idea is, remember the order that we would make. Now, when it comes to that's focusing on WH questions. If we look at, I'm sorry, yes or no questions. If we look at WH questions, notice again how the order of the sentence works. If you came to the party, what would you wear? Who would you dance with if you came to the party? So again, the idea is to think about the order of information. That sometimes can be a little confusing because remember, we're talking about questions, not sentences, right? So in this case, in a sentence, right, you would dance with someone if you could, right? So we do change the order a little bit when it comes to the questions, right? We kind of switch those ideas. All right, now what I'd like to do is let's do some exercises, some practice to give us an idea of how to do these particular sentences. So I'm going to bring this up here on the screen. Now, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to, again, ask different students here in the group to read through different ones. But the idea is we're going to kind of go through and choose which one is the correct response, or I'm sorry, the correct form in the example. Now, again, these are all focusing on second conditional questions. So let's take a look at number one kind of as our example, okay? So it says, if you, right, so there's the condition, if you, so we have two choices, changed or change one thing about yourself. What would it be or what it would be? All right, so class, help me out with the first part of the sentence. So which one would I choose? If you, who could help us with the first one?
Change it.
It changed, right? If you changed one thing about yourself. Okay, and the second part? Would I say what would it be or what it would be?
What could it be?
Okay, very good. Sorry, Maria, I had a little connection issue there. So, okay, very good. So if you changed one thing about yourself, what would it be? Now, we're going to go back and practice these questions in a moment, but let's go through and try to choose the correct answers. So I'm going to basically go through the class roster here and have each one of you try a sentence or two. So Min, how would you like to do number two for us?
If a guy didn't call you after a date, would you be angry?
Okay, very good. All right, Maria, would you like to try number three?
How would you react if someone gave you a compliment?
All right, very good. All right, Mary, would you like to try number four?
Okay. If you won $1 million, uh, how would you spend it?
Okay, very good. All right, Frayane, you want to try number five?
So, who would you taken?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, so it begins here to a
yeah,
party.
yeah. Yeah, but I really, because I have the confused when I saw the same answer. So, to a party, if you had a choice.
Okay, very good. All right, I think we're catching on pretty quickly here. Okay, now in a moment we're going to do a few more, but let's actually answer a few of these questions. So, for example, let's go back to number one. Okay, group, this is time for you to think about yourselves. Okay, now if you think, no, Mr. John, I am perfect the way I am, no changes, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. But guys, if we changed one thing about yourself, what would it be? Now, it doesn't have to be physical. Could be something else. So I'll answer number one in the chat. So if I changed one thing, what would it be? Okay, here it is. I would be taller because I wanted to play basketball when I was in school. Unfortunately, I was not tall enough. All right, so guys, think about it for a moment. Tell us how you would answer number one. You could put it in the chat. You could use the microphone. How would you answer number one? What's something you would change? Or maybe nothing. Maybe you like who you are. And probably I should say I would like to be taller, but maybe not now. Maybe when I was 15 years old. Okay, so again, you can use the chat or the mic. Tell us how you would answer that one. All right, anyone have an answer for number one? Again, you can use the chat or the mic. How would you answer it? Okay. Oh, man. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. You would be healthier. So no more chocolate. Oh, no. You could also change your financial situation, guys. You could say you'd be richer. Okay. All right, Mary. Hey, that's a good one, Mary. Mary, you seem like a patient person.
I'm
Hard to
right.
believe. So are you someone who gets angry pretty quickly?
No, no, no. But I want to be more patient, but I'll try. This is the reason I do yoga because they help me for being more patient.
Okay, now here's a question. How much yoga do you do? Like how many minutes or hours or what?
Regular is 30 minutes an hour, three days per week.
Okay, so is it helping?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Because it's different position. Sometimes you know do good the first time. You need try again and again and again.
Well, I think there's a limit though to how much yoga you can do. So
Yeah,
just be careful. The more yoga you do doesn't mean the more patient you become. Okay. So,
yeah. But maybe they
well,
help.
I think there's a limit though. I wouldn't do like 6 hours of yoga. Okay.
No, 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 no.
Yeah, that might be a little.
I don't have this time.
Yeah, that's the limit right there.
Okay.
All right. So for you said he would be more affectionate. I'm not going to answer that question for you. That one, I don't know if I have an answer for you on that one. I've known you, what, 5 years now, 6 years? So I don't know. Okay. Um, Maria says, okay, now, Maria, this is the perfect chance. This is the perfect chance to practice a little more of that unreal. Okay. I like your idea, but if I were an outgoing person, you see? So that would be the unreal, right? You would practice more English. Well, Maria, I don't know if I can help you there. So I don't know. What can we do? What can we do to help Maria? Maria, what do you think? Can we help Maria be more outgoing? Any recommendations, guys? What can we do? I don't know, Maria. Got to talk to more people. Mary, you got an idea?
Yeah, maybe I can invite Maria for something.
Maybe you can invite Maria to your yoga class.
No, other thing because she wanna go out,
Okay,
like
there
a
you.
party
All
club or
right, there you
something
go,
like this.
Maria. Okay, there you go, Maria.
Okay. Thank
All right.
you.
Send me your phone number, Maria.
Okay.
Okay.
What's funny here is Mary's the party animal. Okay, I got it. Yeah, that is definitely not me. Okay. All right. Now see, I like this. We're thinking about how to use these in kind of a hypothetical way. Now, of course, we could easily answer number 4. This is very similar, like if we had money, right? If we won $1 million, what would you do? But I really want us to think about number 3 really quickly. Let's just talk about number 3 and then we're going to move on. So for number 3, how would you react if someone gave you a compliment? This is pretty interesting because often we don't get compliments, right? People don't just walk on the street and say, "Hey, you look nice today," or "Hey, that's a great idea." So, how would we react if someone just gave you a compliment on the street? Like, for example, if someone said, that's a nice shirt," or "That's a nice sweater," or "I like your watch," or something like that. So, what do you think, men? How would you react if someone gave you a compliment, like a stranger? Like a total stranger just said, "You look nice today," or "I like your shirt," or how would you respond, man? What would you say?
Just be polite to say thank you.
That's it? Okay. Is that typical in your country? Do people compliment people in public?
uh, Somehow.
Do people say that, like "nice shirt"?
Usually between people is you really close.
Aha. So would you feel strange if a stranger said it to you?
Uh, it's not a common
Okay.
from a stranger.
So here in America, would you feel strange if someone told you this compliment?
Yeah, I think it's common in America.
So would you say, "Are you talking to me?" Would you look at them strange like this?
Yeah.
Well, man, many years ago, I had a student. She came into class one day and she was, kind of like upset. She was kind of upset, a little angry. And I said, "What's the problem?" And she goes, "Someone on the street said, 'I really like your hair.'"
That's
And I
good.
said, I said, why are you angry? She's like, "Why are people looking at me?" And I said, "Well, because so what she had done is she had put like a little color in her hair, like, some purple or something, an unusual color." And I said, "No, they're giving you a compliment. They actually like it." And she couldn't understand that. She's like, "What? Why are people looking at me? I don't want people to look at me."
Uh, I
I
understand.
guess, yeah. So I guess in every culture, it's not typical to do
Yeah.
that. I don't know, but
It
I said,
looks
"No,
like American
yeah,
culture for giving others accomplishments. Yes.
yeah, yeah." Now, of course, for women, it might be a little different than it is for men. So I'm going to ask Frayeen. Frayeen, how would you respond if somebody said, "Hey, that's a cool car, or that's a nice watch, or cool iPhone," for example? What would you say?
Well, thank you. I can show you where you can another one.
Has this happened to you? Has someone given you a compliment like this before?
This happened one time with the Hummer when my dad have the Hummer and I use it because he feel a little bit fear because he have the Parkinson. And
You mean
one friend,
like an actual Hummer, like a car, the big car?
H3, Mr. John, do you saw a few 2 years ago the
Well,
black Hummer?
yeah, yeah, but but that's here. He had this here,
Well, I saw
or
in
in
the last December.
okay. Oh, I thought maybe that was in Venezuela. I didn't know it was here.
No, no, it's here.
Oh my goodness. Well, heck, I would have asked for a ride, man.
So the guy every time he wanna show the engine, the inside of the car, including
Of
outside.
course.
Well, this happened
Oh,
only one time.
oh man. Okay. Well, you know what's funny for you? And I was watching a video. Someone was doing a review of the Tesla truck. Right now, have you guys seen the Tesla truck on the road? Have you guys seen this? The Tesla truck?
Yeah, it's too
Yeah,
ugly.
it is ugly, but come on, Mary. If someone drove, like someone parked next to you, don't you? Wouldn't you ask them, "Hey, what's it like inside?" Hmm? Come on, Mary. Would you ask them? Hmm?
No, it's not. For me, it's like, oh my goodness, I don't understand. It's too. It's weird. It's ugly. I don't understand.
Okay, so wait a minute.
Sorry.
Is that the difference between men and women here, Mary?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
maybe.
Well, for Yane, you understand, right? I mean, if someone pulled up with the Tesla truck, you'd want to see inside, wouldn't you? Of course. See, that's the difference.
Yes,
I guess.
100%.
Yeah, 100. Who cares if it's ugly or stupid? I want to see inside. Oh, Mary, come on. Who cares if it's crazy looking? I want to see it. Well, I was watching a video, and these two guys were reviewing the truck. You know, they were driving it, they were talking about it. And what's funny is they went to a national park. In the video, they went to a national park, and they went to this beautiful spot in the park. And what's funny is nobody was looking at the beautiful spot. Everybody was looking at the car. So in the video, you see all these people with their phones taking pictures of this Tesla truck. Now, this was last year, so now you can see the Tesla truck. In fact, I'm next door to a business, and they do the windows. They fix the windows for cars, and there last week there was the Tesla truck next door, and of course my wife is looking out the window, and she's like, "That thing is so ugly." But she kept looking at it. I wonder what it's like inside. So I think in this case, yeah, I would want to know. I would want to know. So, all right. Okay. Well, hey, let's pick up there. Let's continue on the next screen. Okay. So I'm going to erase the screen. Let's take a look at the next one. All right. So we're going to pick up there with number 6. So, Min, would you like to pick up there with number 6?
If you celebrated an important birthday, what would be what would be your ideal gift?
Okay. Very good. Maria, would you like to try number 7?
If you found if you found something someone's bag on the sidewalk, could you try to return it to the owner?
Okay. Very good. All right. Mary, would you like to try number 8?
Is if I ask your best friend to describe you, which word would he choose?
Okay, very good. For Yane, how about number 9?
Google you ask it. Yes, yeah, for
Mm-hmm.
help if you needed to solve them.
Okay, yeah, problem. Uh-huh. Okay. All right, and group, you can help me out with number 10. Okay, so I'm going to kind of read along. You tell me what the answer is. So if you
If you have to choose,
had to choose, okay, now look carefully. Which one? Could you prefer or would you prefer?
Do you prefer?
Congratulations. A trip to South America or the Far East. Now, let's talk about that distinction. So, if again, the word prefer, right? Prefer means to choose something, right? So, I think the question again, just like you mentioned a few minutes ago, Mary, thinking about want, right? What do we want? So, in this case, it really makes sense for the word prefer to go together with the word would. Would you prefer this or would you prefer that? So, in other words, we have to make a choice, right? It's not about a possibility of the choice, it's making a choice. So, let's look at a couple of questions from this particular example. So, for example, let's go back to number 6. So, I'm curious. The question asks about if you celebrated an important birthday, what would be your ideal gift? Now, let's start with that basic idea. So, for example, guys, I'm not 50 now. I turned 50 a few years ago. But for some of you, 50 years old is maybe still a little, a little in the future. But let's start with that idea. If you were to celebrate your 50th birthday, what do you think would be the perfect gift for you on your 50th birthday? Okay, so think about that. For you, many of you, that's still in the future, right? All right, so what would you want for your 50th birthday? So, Maria, I'll start with you. What would be your ideal gift for your 50th birthday? What do you think?
Uh, long travel.
Okay, so for
I got
example,
a trip. Maybe I would like to cross the, how do you say, uh, across the ocean,
which ocean? The Pacific or the Atlantic?
the Atlantic.
Okay, so what, Europe?
Yes,
Spain? France?
yes, all of those.
Wow. That sounds like a perfect 50th trip, 50th birthday trip. Okay. Excellent. All right. Okay, what about you, Min? What's your ideal gift for your 50th birthday? Right? You still have time, right? But still, what would you choose?
Oh, I think I have the same idea with Maria or Mary.
So you would cross the Atlantic or the Pacific?
Oh, I think I just want it's a long travel to abroad.
So any place really? Or
Oh,
or any place special?
it's
Italy?
it's a country called what, Zach? Let me see. Czech?
Oh, the Czech Republic?
Yeah, yeah. I
Really?
saw the couple months ago from a book.
So for example, the capital is Prague. Are you interested in visiting Prague, maybe? The city? Very old, very beautiful city.
I didn't do any, but
Okay.
I
Okay.
just saw the country name and the pictures.
Well, certainly if you see pictures of Prague, it's one of the few cities in Europe that really hasn't changed very much in the last 200 years. 2 or 300 actually. So yeah, maybe pretty exciting to see what old Europe looked like. So yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Okay, I like it, man. Good imagination. I like it. All right, so what is it, Mary? Tell us your ideal 50th birthday gift. What is it?
Okay. I I want a trip too, but I the first one I want is a spa day for a year. After that, a trip for the Caribbean in a resort all inclusive. Uh, maybe an expensive bottle of wine, a really expensive one. That's good
So
for me for my
so
fix.
okay. So let me understand. So you're going to go to the Caribbean and just drink wine. Is that it?
No, it's a different moment. It's three gifts, Mr. John.
Okay.
The expensive wine, the trip for the Caribbean in all inclusive resort, and the spa day for 1 year.
So basically, you're just going to celebrate your 50th birthday all year.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Hey, you dream. That's the idea. Just dream big.
Yeah, because it's 50. It's important.
Okay. Well, you're making my 50th birthday seem pretty boring in
Oh, no,
comparison.
not say that, please. No, stop.
It was. Listen, I didn't have a spa day for a year. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, Freeane, what would it be? 50th birthday. What would you do? What's your ideal gift? Maybe you would maybe you want to get that Hummer back, Freeine. Get the black Hummer back again.
Well, I love the Hummer because, including the trucks, he's moving far away of me, and it's really powerful. This
It's
car,
incredible. Yeah, my goodness, like 1,000 horsepower or something.
but like the it's powerful, it's including really expensive with the gas.
Well, that's true. Sure.
So a few this happened in a few 2 years. I paid 70 per week.
For gas for this car?
Yes.
Well, maybe it's a good idea you sold it. That's a good idea. That's a lot of money per week. Well, but still, that's the idea, right? So that's why, Freeing, that's why you buy the Tesla truck. Okay, so you don't have to worry about gas. Just plug in the electricity.
Do you say the Cybertruck?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the last time. Well, Frank is working just right now in the valet parking on the airport,
Oh, okay.
and he received the Cybertruck one time per every 15 days.
Okay.
But it's not so impressive. How do you guess? So inside, yes, but outside is maybe a regular car.
Yeah, it's a little strange. That's true. Yeah, in fact, I think a lot of people feel kind of maybe disappointed. Yeah. But still, hey, you have to pay $70 a week and get. Well, I definitely think that for your 50th birthday, it needs to be something special. So yeah, maybe a trip. I don't know. So I think I don't know. I think Mary, maybe you've got the best like long experience. But I kind of like Men's choice. I think Prague, the Czech Republic, would be a pretty interesting place to visit. So there you go, man. Better take some language lessons, right? So. All right. So we're off to a good start with our topic, thinking about hypothetical situations. All right. So I'm going to clear the screen there, and I'm going to see what my next activity is. Okay. All right. So I think we're going to do, we have time for one more activity. And what I'm going to do is send you into the breakout room. Basically, it's going to be where we will go into the breakout room, and you and your partner will make these sentences. There are 10 of them. And then I stated that if you when you're finished, send me a message and I'll share the answers. But I think what we'll do is we'll do them in the breakout room, and then we'll just come back and I'll share the answers here. Okay, so that way we were going to have we were going to do one more activity, but I don't think we will have enough time. So I think we'll go ahead and just finish with this one. So in just a moment, we're going to go into the breakout room and you guys will make these sentences together. Now, I did number 1 for you already, just to get you again familiar with the activity. So if you take a look at number 1, it says, if I, and then you have the word receive, such an expensive gift, I, and then feel uncomfortable. So again, the completed sentence would be, if I received such an expensive gift, I would feel uncomfortable. So in this case, if you got your trip to Prague, maybe, men, or your all-inclusive wine vacation, Mary, so there you go. Maybe you would feel uncomfortable, or maybe not. All right, well, I'm going to stop sharing the screen, and we'll go into the breakout room to try the activity. And then, like I said, when you're finished, we'll just come back and check the answers here. So we're going to start. I'm going to give you about 5 or 6 minutes to do the exercise. Maybe I'll check on you in about 5 minutes, and if we need more time, I'll give us more time. Okay. All right, so it looks like Mary dropped out here. So I'm going to see if Mary returns. So in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and put us into the breakout room. And then if Mary doesn't return, I'll change the groups. So I'll go ahead and open the breakout room, and then I'll come in and share the link. All right, so guys, get ready. Here we go. For the other 2 to return. Okay, there's Min. And there's Mary. All right, very good. Okay, now guys, the original plan was I was going to share the answers in your breakout rooms in the chat. So I'm going to go ahead and put the answers in the chat right now. Oops, that's only number 7. Hold on, let me try this again. Okay, let me try this again. Okay, there we go. Okay, so guys, I've put the answers in the chat. So what I'm going to do real quickly is read through, and I'll just sort of quickly type the answers on the screen. So for example, for number 2, my mother would give you practical advice if you had to solve a problem. Number 3, if my boyfriend bought me a sports car, I would not accept it. Okay. Or wouldn't accept it. Number 4, if they won $1 million, they would not spend it or wouldn't spend it on a vacation. Number 5, the students would do better if they studied more for every quiz. Number 6, if Peter had the money, he would, or you could say could, start his own business. We don't really know the intention of the sentence. So you could put he could or would be fine for number 6. Okay, so those are the answers for the first 6. Hopefully you got those. And again, they're in the chat. So if you need to go back and look, you can see them there. All right, and then moving on to the second. Right, to the second one. All right, so picking up there with number 7, if I didn't have to work, I would come, or you could say I could come. I think would be the better answer, but I think would probably could come would also be acceptable. But again, I think the intention is that you would come. So again, I think in this case, would be the better choice. Number 7, if Sarah found an adventurous, intelligent guy, she would date him. Okay. Number 9, they didn't. I'm sorry, they would not take the quiz if you asked them. And then finally, if you gave me a compliment, I would blush. By the way, what does it mean to blush? Anyone know?
Your face a little red.
That's right. Your face would turn red. So hopefully you wouldn't feel that way about a compliment, but sometimes, hey, it's nice to get a compliment, but it may surprise us. Okay, well, guys, we did it. We got through our next lesson. We're going to practice a little bit more in our next class. So I hope this was maybe a good refresher for some of you if you studied this before. But also, I think it's a good opportunity to think about the different way we use language in any language, thinking about hypotheticals or possibilities. So in this case, in English, again, we use the simple past, right, for the if part of the sentence, and then use would or could for the other part, right, the other part of the clause. Okay. All right. Well, guys, I think we will stop there for tonight. I'm not sure where my actual activity. I think I just had the copy of the lesson. I see. All right. Well, we'll stop there for now. All right, guys. Well, we will see you all on Thursday. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. John.
Thank you,
Bye.
See you,
Mr.
Mr. John. Bye bye.
Take care.